If you enjoy playing with friends while experiencing a healthy dose of luck and strategy, Gamble with Your Friends might be exactly what you were looking for. It is the type of game that seems simple on the surface but hides interesting mechanics that most people miss during their first few hours. This is precisely why I am here today, as there is a lot about this game that nobody has told you yet. Stay tuned, because these 10 facts will completely change how you view Gamble with Your Friends. Let us discuss a mechanic that will make you reconsider who you call a friend before starting a match. In Gamble with Your Friends, all players share a single bank account, and money is not the only thing split. Debt belongs to everyone as well. You enter the game already owing money alongside your friends, and the mission is to pay off this debt before everything collapses. The problem, or rather the fun part, is that a single bad bet by any player affects everyone's pocket. While you are being careful and weighing every decision, your friend next to you might be throwing everything away on a wild bet. There is nothing to do, the damage is done, and the debt increases for everyone. This creates a tension that few games replicate naturally. You are not only worried about your own moves, you are watching every movement your friend makes, hoping they do not ruin everything. When they do, the classic argument of "why did you bet on that" begins, which only a well-designed mechanic can provoke. It is the type of design that transforms a simple round into a real test of friendship. Games that place responsibility on the entire group rather than just the individual tend to create far more memorable moments, whether through celebration when it works or absolute chaos when a friend makes an unprompted decision. That is exactly what makes this mechanic effective. This is one of the most chaotic mechanics seen in a multiplayer game recently. When the money runs out and the situation tightens, the game provides a creative exit. You can sell parts of your own body for tickets. This is not a metaphor or figurative language. The game literally asks how much you are willing to sacrifice to stay in the match. Then comes the part that truly separates friends from enemies. You can sell your friends too, in literal and chaotic ways. Picture the scene. You are desperate, the debt is heavy, and next to you is a friend who just made a horrible bet that sank everyone. The temptation to simply sell them to the game is real, and Gamble with Your Friends gives you that option without hesitation. What makes this mechanic clever is that it adds a layer of completely voluntary betrayal. You are not forced to do anything, but the situation becomes so chaotic that selling a friend begins to look like the most logical move. When that happens, the tables turn, the friendship is tested, and that moment becomes a story to tell after the match. This type of impossible decision is what makes multiplayer games memorable experiences. Any game can set you up to compete against your friends, but few place you in a situation where betraying someone feels not only acceptable, but necessary. This level of controlled chaos makes Gamble with Your Friends distinct from what is normally available. This time-limited mechanic creates immediate pressure. You have only 5 minutes per day in the game to meet the loan shark's money quota. This transforms every round into an intense, chaotic race against the clock where every second matters. The pressure of knowing time will run out quickly alters how you play, forcing fast and risky decisions. What increases the tension is that if you fail to meet the quota within this short window, you face real consequences within the game. It is not just about losing a round. The penalties are heavy enough to cause stress during the next attempt. This creates a constant atmosphere of urgency, where every bet, move, and choice becomes a matter of survival. The idea of dealing with the consequences of failure adds emotional weight that few multiplayer games convey. This 5-minute limitation per daily run also changes the dynamics between players in a fascinating way. With so little time, there is no room for hesitation or overplanning. You must act quickly, trust your friends or not, and risk everything at once. This generates moments of collective panic, nervous laughter, and the feeling of "are we going to make it or not?" Time pressure unites the group uniquely, but it can also reveal who panics easily and who remains calm under pressure. This time-limited mechanic is what makes Gamble with Your Friends addictive and unpredictable. 5 minutes may seem short, but it is enough for a roller coaster of emotions, risky decisions, and chaotic moments you will want to relive immediately. If you enjoy multiplayer games that put you against the clock and force you to act under extreme pressure, this game will likely become your new go-to for intense fun with friends. Gamble with Your Friends declares itself as the world's first online co-op casino crawler, and the premise is chaotic. Up to 6 players share a single bank account and, worse, a massive debt with a loan shark. This means everyone is in the same boat, but the boat has a leak and is taking on water fast. The concept of shared debt alters the game's dynamic entirely, because you are not the only one who needs to worry. The entire group does. What makes it more chaotic is that a single bad decision by a friend can ruin everyone's run. You might be doing well and making smart choices, but a companion decides to bet everything on something doubtful. the shared bank account drops to zero, and everyone pays the price. This mechanic creates constant tension between cooperation and distrust, where every choice made by another player becomes your concern. The shared debt casino crawler structure transforms the game into an experience of controlled or uncontrolled chaos. You cannot relax and play on autopilot because you are always watching what others are doing, hoping they do not make foolish decisions. This generates collective panic, humorous accusations, nervous laughter, and questions about why you invited certain friends to play. Gamble with Your Friends serves as the type of game that tests friendships in a fun, brutal way. The shared debt casino crawler mechanic works well for those who enjoy chaos, group pressure, and memorable moments of betrayal and forced collaboration. If you want a multiplayer title that combines cooperation, extreme risk, and dark humor, this game will likely be your new obsession for disorganized game nights with up to 5 friends. The frenetic pace of the matches is immediately apparent. Each day inside the casino lasts only 5 minutes. This is enough time to raise your heart rate, but insufficient to catch your breath. You enter that floor knowing the clock is your primary enemy, and this constant pressure turns even the simplest decision tense and chaotic. Playing on autopilot is not an option. Every passing second leaves less time to escape the loan shark's grasp. The goal is clear and harsh. You and your friends must climb a tower of 4 themed floors to meet the daily quota. Each floor brings its own vibe and challenges, keeping the experience fresh even when you are desperate. It is not just about betting high and hoping. It is about scaling this location while time slips away. The feeling of clearing a floor only to immediately face the next is exhausting and addictive. The complete package is more robust than these individual sessions might suggest. The entire campaign takes between 2 and 3 hours to beat, and the game offers 3 different endings depending on the choices and performance of the group. This means there is a real incentive to replay, test distinct strategies, and discover which paths lead to which outcome. It is the type of game that provides a perfect excuse to say, just one more run, multiple times. This combination of short, intense sessions with a compact campaign makes Gamble with Your Friends an ideal candidate for nights when you want to play something with the group without committing the entire early morning. You can make real progress in a short amount of time, feel the adrenaline of fleeing a debt, and finish the story in 1 or 2 sittings. If you enjoy quick sessions that leave everyone shouting, laughing, and wanting more, this game was built for that exact moment. Inside Gamble with Your Friends, you find no fewer than 17 different gambling games, and the variety is notable. It ranges from casino classics like slots, roulette, blackjack, and craps, to more unusual options like duck races and entirely random minigames. This mix of serious games with bizarre elements gives the title its chaotic, fun tone that keeps you laughing even when losing everything. What makes it more interesting is that the tower floors are procedurally generated, so each run is unique. You might start a match facing slots and, in the next, find yourself in a duck race or a difficult game of craps. This unpredictability forces constant adaptation, preventing you from settling into a single strategy. This dynamic keeps the game fresh after multiple playthroughs. The combination of so many different games with procedural generation creates an experience where nothing is guaranteed and surprises happen frequently. A friend might be winning heavily in a game of roulette, and the next second, everyone drops into a random minigame that turns everything upside down. This generates collective panic, laughter, humorous accusations, and the feeling that the game remains one step ahead of you. The sketchy items and unusual mechanics are both bizarre and clever. Here, you are not just playing. You are practically trading your dignity for an advantage. You earn tickets by completing challenges, meeting the quota, or literally selling your body parts. The game operates at that level. The entertaining part involves what you can do with those tickets. There are items like the Holy Statue, which saves you from losing and completely alters the risk of your plays. Furthermore, the game provides options like the Quota Gun, which allows you to trade body parts for cash, turning every decision into something desperate and strategic. If you think you have seen everything, the Time Machine adds an element of absurd game manipulation. The most chaotic aspect is how all of this mixes with player interactions. Playing well is insufficient. You can also sabotage your friends mid-match. To finish it off, the game gives you a baseball bat for free. It serves exactly the purpose you are imagining, hitting your friends and cheating at street craps. This type of mechanic transforms any match into a complete mess, which makes the game addictive. One of the most interesting aspects of Gamble with Your Friends is that it does not attempt to be a massive or deeply profound game. It fully embraces the concept of friend slop. This is not a criticism, it is almost its own genre nowadays. Chaotic, fast-paced games designed for you to log in, laugh, and leave without commitment. The developers at 10stack, alongside Skybrave, understood what works for this type of experience. Instead of keeping you hooked for hours, the game is designed for short, highly intense sessions filled with absurd moments. It is the perfect type of game to open on Discord with friends, play a few matches, and create nonsense stories along the way. Curiously, this makes the game highly digestible. It is inexpensive, easy to understand, and does not require the heavy time investment that most modern multiplayer games demand. You do not need to learn a lot of complex systems, you just enter, play, and let chaos happen. The ultimate sign that this formula worked is the result. Over 1 million copies sold in just a few weeks. This shows that many people are looking for this exact type of lighter, more chaotic, and social experience. And Gamble with Your Friends hit the mark. An interesting point is that despite the theme of betting and questionable decisions, the developers make it clear. The game does not encourage real-life gambling. There is a direct disclaimer reinforcing this, showing they know exactly what kind of experience they are creating. This makes sense when you play, because everything here is exaggerated on purpose. It is not about simulating a serious casino, it is about chaos, greed, and bad decisions taken to the extreme. Almost like a parody. The game wants you to make absurd choices and then laugh at the consequences. In practice, it functions more like an interactive comedy than anything else. You are not trying to play well in the traditional sense. You are entering a spiral of increasingly worse decisions alongside your friends, and that is what creates the best moments. This developer warning ends up reinforcing the game's identity. It clarifies that Gamble with Your Friends is not about real money. It is about banter, chaos, and the type of experience that only works when nobody takes anything seriously. This is one of those stories that show how the indie scene is becoming increasingly unpredictable. Gamble with Your Friends was developed in less than 9 months, and it even underwent a reboot mid-development. This means development was neither linear nor smooth, yet the game managed to launch strong. The most impressive part is the speed at which it exploded. A large portion of this success came from streamers, who picked up the game precisely for its potential for chaos and funny moments. It is the perfect type of game for content, fast, unpredictable, and full of situations that yield instant reactions. However, it was not just luck. The marketing also nailed the positioning. The concept of ruining friendships in a fun way practically sells the game on its own. You look at that and immediately understand exactly what kind of experience awaits you, which is valuable today. To complete the strategy, they rode the wave of popular indies with bundles, appearing alongside games like Buckshot Roulette. This helps place the game on the radar of those who already enjoy chaotic experiences, reinforcing how it managed to grow so quickly in such a short time.